point. And as I watched it unfold, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm literally sitting here going, folks, Liberia has a female president. You had Margaret Thatcher in the UK, Bhutto in Pakistan, and so for the United States to finally sort of get around to it, it was certainly striking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would have to agree with my colleagues in that this is not something that's new. Probably if it was another woman in the place, then maybe we would have felt that striking move that everyone's looking for Americans to feel yesterday. But as you mentioned, you know, this is Hillary. You know, she's been around for a very long time, and so we didn't feel the actual impact of history making that we were all expected to feel yesterday.
And one of the things I think we have to recognize, and then I talked to Congresswoman Yvette Clarke as well, and her mother, and then so we didn't have it there, was the reality of Congressman Shirley Chisholm. I mean, this took about 1972 when she decided to run for president of the United States.
That's right. You know, we have to remember that there are other people who laid the groundwork for this moment to happen. And, you know, I will concede the point. I think because Hillary Clinton has been in the public eye for so long and never really left, even in 2008, right. She was Secretary of State for 4 years. So I think that could have been the thing. I do think it is amazing yesterday when it happened. And you're right, there are kids now who have grown up with only a black president and possibly only a woman president, and that's amazing. It's about time.
Well, and I think also in the room you saw the generational divide.
Right.
I mean, you saw those women
yep.
who were 50 plus,
right.
and it was a totally different feeling for them than anybody else.
Absolutely.
And the funny thing is, I find it kind of galls me the way that argument is sometimes lost on certain Sanders supporters. That for as much as they're talking about revolution, and yes, you can have your ideological problems with Hillary Clinton, but I mean, there are even Republicans who will say, yeah, we got to admit, having a black president, we may dislike him, but that we got to stop for a moment and say that was pretty amazing. And it's amazing to me that you've got Sanders supporters who can't stop for a second and be like, well, you know, it's not bad. Not bad for America to finally catch up with the planet before you go back to protesting. That's been a shocking thing to me throughout this convention.
Also, for Democrats, nominating the first Catholic president, having the first woman on the presidential ticket with Geraldine Ferraro, the first Jewish candidate, Joseph Lieberman in 2000, obviously the first African American. And so, Maritza, I mean, that's certainly, I mean, from a Republican standpoint, that's a whole lot of first for the Democratic Party and not the Republican Party.
I mean, yeah, that's true. We can say that. But as we can see, that the Republican Party is moving towards a place where it's trying to evolve. And so the Republican Party is doing a lot in terms of attracting minorities, giving women opportunities within the party to have a bigger role. And as you mentioned, my colleague mentioned last week, in that, you know, it's unfortunate that we were not able to see Bernie supporters really come around and grasp their nominee. But what we saw last week at convention was that despite our nominee, everyone was able to come around, whether it's a Cruz supporter, a Rubio supporter.
Hold up now. I mean, first of all, I mean, last I checked on Friday, it was your nominee who said he was going to start a super PAC to oppose Senator Ted Cruz, to oppose Ohio Governor John Kasich. Cruz has still not endorsed him. You still have folks in the Never Trump campaign. So ain't that much kumbaya going on the Republican side. I mean, that was a nice attempt at spin, but wrong show, wrong brother.
And look at all the Republicans who did not show up to the Republican convention. I mean, you have all the establishment Democrats here. You had basically none last week. So
I mean, you got to remember last week on Tuesday when Senator Tom Cotton was your biggest name.
You got a problem?
No, you didn't have that much unity, Jason.
Well, and that's the thing. The Democrats have laid out all the superstars throughout the night. Again, it still galls me the way that some of these Sanders supporters are being given the opportunity to have this extended morning. Sometimes you lose. It happens, and they go around here with their vests and their buttons and their shirts looking like a bunch of waiters from TGI Fridays complaining all the time that they're not being paid enough attention to. Sometimes you lose. I remember the
Hillary Clinton lost in 2008.
Exactly.
And that was some pissed off women who were angry. They were saying they were going to come to Denver. They were going to have rallies and opposing.
Exactly.
I mean, so, yeah, losers lose. I mean, somebody has to lose.
Exactly. Right. And then you get over it. And this is the thing as far as unity goes, at least from what I've seen. A bunch of older white women managed to get over the fact that a white woman got beat by a black man and still voted for Barack Obama. I figure all these white people will find a way to get along with each other to support Hillary Clinton at the end of the day.
I mean,
that can't
at some point, right?
That can't be tougher than voting for Barack Obama over Hillary Clinton.
I think one thing we have to remember is that a lot of these Bernie Sanders delegates have never been delegates before.
Oh, yes.
A lot of them aren't actually a part of the
before.
They've been voters before. A lot of them aren't. They're not a part of the Democratic Party. So coming here and having unity isn't important to them because they're not Democrats, some of them.
Right.
And,
Neither
and
is
that's
Bernie.
fine. Well, and that's fine, and that is fine.
Gotcha.
But I think, we have to remember that when we're like, why are these people acting that way? It's because they're not part of the system.
All right, hold tight 1 second, folks. When we come back, we're going to hear from former Attorney General Eric Holder, as well as former President Bill Clinton, who shared a lot of personal details about his wife, Hillary Clinton. We'll also hear from the mothers of the movement, an emotional moment on the floor as the moms of Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, and others spoke to the delegates here. Plus, what can Democrats do to keep white voters in the fold in battleground states? What can the party do to attract and drive a surge of voters of African Americans? Breaking all of that down right here. News One Now, reporting live from Philadelphia, the Democratic National Convention on TV1. Back in a moment.